Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today I'm going to be ranking Taliesin Jaffe's player characters from least favorite to favorite. Keep this in mind, I still like them all, so depending on the order, I know I'm going to get slaughtered for one of the placements I have for his characters, and the characters we're looking at today are his four main campaign characters, so Percy, Mollymawk, Caddy, and Ashton. So let's hop right into her. And in fourth place is the one I'm going to be slaughtered for, Mollymawk, Tea Leaf. Okay, a few reasons why he's here compared to the others. First one is actually my fault. So, before I ever watched Critical Role, one of the first pieces of Critical Role media I ever saw was the animated intro for it. This was around episode 51, I believe, is when that animated intro came out. So approximately 26 episodes after Mollymawk's demise. So, I already knew that Mollymawk didn't get that far. But I didn't quite know that the character ever existed. So when I went down the rabbit hole of these Critical Role animated videos, I saw the D&D Beyond one and saw that the pink-haired Furbolg wasn't there, but instead was a purple tiefling. And I was like, that's weird. Where's the other guy? So when I started watching, I already knew that Mollymawk wasn't making it. So because of this, I mildly, subconsciously chose not to form any attachments to said character, which was unfortunate. And it's because of this, he's down here. And not to mention, he only has 25 episodes, or I think it's 25, might be 24. 24 episodes versus everyone's 140-ish. Versus Caduceus is like 115 episodes. So we have him for a very short amount of time compared to every other character in Campaign 2. I already knew about him, so I kind of didn't make connections to him. So my fault yet again. And there was always something about him that I wasn't necessarily a big fan of. I think part of it was the lack of backstory we had about him until we started learning about Lucian. And that was another thing for me that made me not even try to make attachments to him, because first of all, I knew his backstory would kind of go a little nowhere because it was going to abruptly end, but I also knew that he didn't have one. He woke up in a hole, and 2 years later he's spending all of his time at a circus. According to him, he did other things in between that, but I never focused on them because, like I said, I knew. So, very unfortunate about Mollymawk, and I did eventually really start loving the Lucian backstory we got, but Lucian and Mollymawk are very different characters, and it's very interesting how different they were, but I wouldn't consider the Mollymawk backstory to be, like, truly the same as the Lucian backstory, because they're different people. One's a fucking villain who wants to bring the Psalm Novum back, and the other one is a dude who doesn't know who he is. Maybe if we got to see how it was supposed to play out, I would have fallen in love with the character like everyone else did. But for me personally, I grew no attachment to him because I knew he was on borrowed time. So my fault about this character. He's fun. I enjoy how Taliesin played him. I thought he was a energetic and sort of deceptively good character. He would appear to be a very evil person. He is covered in tattoos. He carried around these nasty, sharp weapons. He would cut himself to activate his powers. But then, at the end of the day, he would turn to not and tell not to not steal from good people. So he was very deceptive in his appearance and who he was internally, which was fun. But it wasn't enough for me to connect to him. That's why he's down here at number 4. Sorry if you really like him. Oh, I also kind of like Kingsley. Kingsley's fun. I think from the literally 2 episodes, like an episode and a half we got of him, he was fun. And knowing the idea of him potentially stealing Dark Toe is fun too. But I'm not going to even bother talking about Kingsley because he was literally just a blip on the radar. So, yeah, unfortunately, Mollymawk / Kingsley is down at the bottom for all the reasons I just named. My apologies if you're a big Mollymawk fan, but this is what happened. Sorry. In third place, we have Ashton Greymore. Unfortunately, he is suffering from not being in a 100 episode plus campaign as of right now because I really like this character. He is filled with tons of backstory and lore that I'm really intrigued by. His connections to the location that they are currently in the campaign is awesome. His powers being totally unexplained are great. I find that everything about him, including the mystery surrounding how he used to be squishy until he turned into a Genasi, an Earth Genasi, is also intriguing to me. I really want that to be explained about him. And his I don't give a fuck exterior to the person who he actually is on the inside, which is I'm going to protect these people, is a fantastic character. And I really enjoy everything that Taliesin is doing with Ashton so far. I do wish I had a tiny bit more, because even with it only being 27 episodes deep so far, I think he could take number 2. Number 1 is secured, but number 2 is a spot that I think Ashton very easily could take. And I'm really enjoying the character. His, like I said, his I don't give a fuck about people, exterior to his interior, much like he used to be a soft, squishy person, is very caring toward his friends. And I really appreciate this character. I think he's really fun, and he's actually kind of really relatable too, because I know a lot of people who are like this, to when they meet new people, they fucking hate them. And when they, are with the people they care about, they're a totally different person to them. And it's really cool for this kind of character to be so present in a D&D campaign. And I'm really excited to see more and learn more about his backstory. We keep learning more about his last name, the Greymores. So I'm very excited to continue his journey from, being hard exterior to a soft exterior. Because eventually I get the feeling he's going to become more of a softie on the outside, if you get what I mean. And in second place, we have Percival Frederickstein von Musa-Kowalski DeRollo III. I love this character. There's so much fun about him. I love his class. I think it's extremely broken, the class. But I also love his backstory and how influential it was to the success of Critical Role. The Briarwood arc is considered to be the best arc in Campaign 1. And yeah, I'm not going to argue that. It's fantastic. It's fun. It's got vampires. It's got, people who have connections to Vecna. It's got zombies. It's got a whole town that needs to be saved by the villains. It's fun. And it's a story about revenge. And I don't know, he is a character who molded the beginning of Critical Role. Without him, I don't think, and without his backstory, I don't think the show gets very far. It might have continued, but I don't think people would have attached to it quite like they did with that arc. But his character as a whole is one whose family was all killed with the exception of one, and he thought his life was over until he met Vox Machina, and they continued, to move forward. He found something new. He thought, this was it. I'm finally going to be okay with where I am. I'm not going to be happy, but at least I'm not dead in the ditch somewhere like the rest of my family, until the Briarwoods show up and fuck his mind royally. And then he gets to go steal Whitestone back, and from that point on, Whitestone became an incredibly fun location and almost a hub for the characters to continue the story. Without Percy, there is no Critical Role, in my opinion. He is an awesome character. His relationship with a lot of characters like Vax and Vex are fun, while I think his Vex relationship, actual relationship, kind of comes out of nowhere. Once it gets rolling, it's actually really entertaining for me. So it was very fun. I do like his connection to the Raven Queen. It's nowhere near as strong as Vax, but it's kind of more of a I want something to believe in sort of relationship, and I really enjoyed that. So Percy, really fun character. Like a lot of his story, the lore that he added to the campaign. I like a lot of the lore that he's added to the world in general afterwards. So Percy is a fun character. Really enjoy him. And yeah, just think he's a badass. No Mercy Percy is he holds some of the best moments in Campaign 1 for me. So number 2 is where he belongs. Number 1 is Caduceus Clay, and honestly, everyone should know why. This character came in and changed the entire scope of Campaign 2. He came in and made characters go from, people who could go to the dark side and be evil, and made them bright, good people. Yasha, Caleb, and Ford especially. These characters, he came in and sort of fixed. He is the father figure of the party. Without him, they go down a completely different path. When they were with Mollymock, they went and dealt with the Gentleman, a bad guy. But if Caduceus was there, they probably would have went with the Taskmasters and gone up to Rexentrum and joined them and potentially got more involved in the front lines of war. And, fought on the side of good way earlier than what they did. The campaign that they got down was more of a gray area without Caduceus. And once they got Caduceus, the gray area shifted a little bit more toward the light side, but still stayed gray, which was fun. I'm glad we didn't just get a total good side, characters, because they were already sort of in that middle ground, and Caduceus couldn't really rip all of them out of there. So when he came in and became the moral center of the group, it was fun. It was a completely different shift in dynamic for a lot of these characters. And his story connecting to lore and Aor is extremely fun. When we got to see his reactions to the corrupted trees in one of the Aor ruins, it was great. It was awesome to see the character was like, oh shit, it's not just my home. And I really enjoyed a lot of his connections to that portion of Wildemount and the continent that they were on for campaign 2. I loved all of his relationship with characters, but the one that I love the most is how drastically he changed Ford. Without him, Ford probably releases Ukutoa. Without him, he doesn't go Paladin and just sticks with Hexblade Warlock the whole time. He doesn't find the Wild Mother without Caduceus. He doesn't have Star Razor without Caduceus. Caduceus literally bought the sword. He bought it. He grabbed it. He's the reason that sword was even there. He's like, it's a broken sword. I have to take this. He's the reason for that change. And then to go with another character, he was the person that told Yasha to accept herself. Even after all the bullshit that Yasha went through, he was the one that said, yo, it's over. That part's behind you. Be who you are now in the moment. Caduceus changed and affected every character in the 9. And without him, Campaign 2 wouldn't be as near and dear to my heart. He is the heart, the glue, the soul, and the moral compass to the Mighty 9. And I love the character. And there you have it. My list of ranking Taliesin's characters. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot harder than that. When I started to really write it down and put it to paper, I was at first thinking this is going to be a pain in the ass. I kind of knew who number 4 was, but after that I was like, this is going to be difficult. But after I thought about it for a little while, Caduceus was firmly number 1, and number 3 and number 2 probably flip-flop on the regular. So, definitely a lot easier than I thought that was going to be. Taliesin is an amazing character creator. All his characters have unique spins on himself, and it's very fun to see him play these characters. So, excited to see more of Ashton. I really want to see more of the Mighty 9. Give me more Mighty 9, guys. So, yeah. Anyway, without further ado, I'll see you guys Friday for, I think they're doing this week's episode of Critical Role. I might be wrong. Hopefully we're doing Critical Role episode 28 on Friday. See you guys.